I also have a group in Facebook called Painting with Fibromyalgia. So I will be giving a little bit of some encouragement and direction on how to paint with more ease and more comfort. And I encourage everybody to take breaks and things like that. So you'll hear that in all of my videos. I do want everyone to keep painting, and so that's why I pay a little bit more of attention to that part of it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to play with the sky a little. I'm taking a little bit of my titanium white, and I'm going to put a few streaks in the sky just to be able to put some yellow in, some sunset in where I want to. If you were listening before earlier, I was in another video, I was talking about how it's very hard to put yellow on top of blue because you will end up with green. So some things are a little bit easier to remember, especially if you've made that mistake before. And green is not really a sunset color, so I just want to play with this, give it a little bit of sunset. And see, it's already starting to come alive. So if it comes alive for you, it's going to come alive for your results. Okay, so that's a little bit of a tip. You don't have to go in any particular order necessarily. Generally, it's probably better to start from the top and work your way down, especially with the background. But then you get to skip around and play around. You get to conserve your paint. If you see some other areas that might need a little white, you get to conserve your paint. So that's one way of doing it, just hitting all the areas that have white. I tend to not necessarily do that. Okay, and now I'm going to add a little bit of phthalo blue to my palette. Okay, I also added some red oxide to my palette because I want to darken that roof a little bit. So you'll see me layering, you'll see me looking and seeing how the colors complement each other or don't. So I make my little adjustments as I go. Sometimes things seem right in your head and then not so right when you actually have the colors together. Okay. So now that I've added the white for the sky to put a little bit of sunset and clouds in there, I'm going to work a little bit more on the castle and allow that time to dry. I'm not real quick to pick up a blow dryer. I'm getting away from that because that encourages me to try to stay so closely involved in my painting that I can't even wait for it to dry. Well, acrylic paint dries pretty fast, so I'm trying to train myself to allow that time period to let me relax, rest, sit back, okay, and have some good posture and check my posture. So I'm switching to a regular brush for that. And I'm going to darken the tops, the roof part of the towers. I'm going to darken that. To give this castle a little bit more seriousness. I don't want it to look too much like a doll castle, a toy castle. So we need to get out of the pinks, give it a little more seriousness. I know I'm going one direction on here, partly to show you what I'm doing. So my hand's not in the way, okay? Now, another thing I'm going to do is flip this sideways and work at my level, okay? Who says the picture has to be the right direction? Move it over a little so you can see what I'm doing. Who says it has to be the right direction while you're still painting it? So here's another trick. Do it in the direction that makes it easier. Now I have my arms down where I need them to be down, right where I'm painting. Boy, is that easier. And I'm putting a little shadow in by putting more of the paint over the peachy roofs. I'm putting more of it on the right side so that the right side is darker, and I'm using my little peachy undercolor of the roof in my favor. So I go a little bit lighter on the left side of it so that you can see some of the peach, and I go a little heavier on the right side of it. So if I'm out of view, that's what I'm doing. Just letting you know what I'm doing, okay? I'm adding the color red oxide over the peach of the roof, which is the roofs were initially in the peach family. Not crazy about it, but this definitely gives me opportunity to do some shading. And I kind of like a little bit. Now I'm starting to like a little of my color showing through because it gives it just a little bit of a, I call it watercolory look. But that's the thing I like about watercolor is that it has a little bit of a transparency to it. Now, I went outside the line, so I'm wetting a paintbrush to get that, just to fix it. A clean brush will fix it. You just dip some water in it while it's fresh and clean it up a little bit. Okay. This side. You have to do it right away. See this one little bit I didn't do right away, so I'm going to have to go in there and I'll get it with some of my sky. See, some of my sky will fix any oopses too. So whenever you have some boo-boos on your painting where you made some oopses, don't panic over it. If you don't really get it as fast as you want it to, still don't panic over it. It's still not the end. You can still fix it because the painting has so many different layers to it that you could fix it with the other things that you have to add. I call it a cover-up job. So you can always use your cover-up job. Don't get too worried about it. A little bit of a reference. I'm kind of going by the reference, not really, but I'm kind of going by the reference here too. I have my little kind of broke down laptop. It's a tiny little thing, so it's convenient for that. But the E's don't work. And then when I really get serious and have to talk to somebody, then it's so frustrating because then I have to use the on screen keyboard. And if anybody's done that before, oh boy, what a pain. Not nice to have to do that. Okay. So I did that. I'm going to get on this the round roof down there. Can you see that? This section right here. No, you can't see it. Bring it up a little bit. Yes, you can. This section right here, that's a roof too. So it'll start making sense when I start painting. Curve my brush around so I can get that nice and evenly. Sometimes twisting your brush will give you the roundness and the evenness when you do something round. Sometimes it's just a matter of just twisting your brush like it's a compass. And that's something I accidentally found. Some of the tips I give you are tips that I learned. Some of the tips that I give you are things that I accidentally found. But sometimes if you just twist your hand and twist the brush like so, you just twist it and keep that end of the brush in the same spot, it will give you a half a circle. Okay, so I'm kind of letting you in on that. Now you could practice that on something else so that you can get an idea of what I mean. And so that one's done. Okay. I also like to talk about perfectionism because that could get in your way of enjoying what you're doing because you're so worried about it and you're thinking it's just not, it can't be good, it can't be good because I'm doing this and I haven't done it in a long time. Well, you know what, sometimes your stuff you haven't done in a long time could actually be good, and the only one that's not convinced is you. So don't fret over that. Just keep going with it. Don't try to be a perfectionist. People enjoy seeing a person's take on something, which means it's not a photograph of it. If you're a realistic artist, then that's a whole different story. But most people don't jump into painting being a realistic artist. If they do, I don't know, they just have a certain mind for things. I enjoy not having to do that. I enjoy having to being able to express myself. And with that, I find it much more relaxing because I'm not putting that pressure on myself. I really have enjoyed some of the paintings that I have seen on channels where their paintings are realistic. And one of them that I do follow when I get the time, I go over and I look at her stuff. She has some fantastic stuff on there, but it doesn't make me want to change my style because I have to go with my personality and what I could tolerate physically. And physically, I can't tolerate allowing myself to get too sucked into a painting or a photograph to turn it into a painting. Um, it physically gets me in trouble because then I hyper focus so much trying to get that right that it's just not always that healthy. Okay. So I'm not using a ruler. I saw a demonstration. Maybe you guys could find it, but it was, maybe if you put it in a search. I don't usually send people away from my channel like this, but I'm going to because it was fantastic. And I don't know the artist's name, but it was how to paint a window. Okay, that sounds very boring, but it was worth watching. And there were so many, like I say, I talk about layers or steps to painting this window. And one thing he said not to do was use some sort of a ruler type thing, which I thought was interesting. He said because it takes from it, it just, the lines are too straight, and you can tell that a ruler was used. Okay, I thought that was my imagination, but um, apparently not. Apparently, someone else was thinking the same thing, that people appreciate when a painting looks like it was painted, unless we're talking about, true realism. But in general, just in general, people do appreciate that. So then I thought, well, then I'm not going to get used to. I'm taking this red oxide and I'm kind of spreading the love here. I want some things to stand out, and if you have light and dark, it's more likely to stand out than if it's all one color, especially all one light color. So I'm going over the peachiness of this bridge. Give it a little bit more contrast. All right, and then just putting some smudges in here. And the smudges are what's blending it, making it a little bit more blended. I'm going to put a teeny bit of cad red in there and a teeny bit of white in there, so it's not so unnatural looking. Just messing around, so just mess around with it, because that was a little crazy. Scooping some of that on my towel. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. So I'm kind of curving this down like a hill. Okay, and giving this, and I'm pushing it a little bit into this bridge. All right, and just coming down with this a little bit. This is supposed to have some rocks in it, so I'll come back and do that. I still have those colors out, so I'll come back and do that. This right here is one of those little platform areas, patio areas. So I'm not going to disturb that too much. Okay. Need some water. Dip back into this. And what did I say? A little red to go with it, a little white to go with it, with my phthalo blue. Touch of yellow to go with it. All right, a little water. All right, so now I have kind of a natural color. The reason why I touched a little red in it was to like get rid of some of this. It was just a little too green. So this gives it more of a naturalness. So kind of going there. Kind of going there. Green was never one of my favorite colors, but now that I paint, I really enjoy it because you get to play with it. You get to mix it and you get to play with it. This right here, see if you could see it. Ah, you couldn't see. Sorry about that. Next to where I have the green is going to be a tree. So it has the side, you know, a Christmas tree look. It has the side. Where's my pen, my brush? The side of the tree. So it has that all the way down, that little pointed fan side of the tree. Okay. So I have that chalked in. So later, when you could see the difference, you'll see that better. Um, and so I'm not gonna. That's gonna be a very dark green. Okay. So I'm just going in between there, so you'll see that. And if you're wondering what in the world, that's why I'm doing that. I'm leaving space for that tree without necessarily wasting my paint there by having to go over that again. Ah, it's starting to look more like a painting now. Sometimes I stick things places so I can feel like I'm getting somewhere, you know? Kind of like a little instant gratification. Okay. And I like this being, I don't know, that turned out a little dark and a little, I like that. This turned out a little greener. And with the way the sun is hitting, the way the light's hitting, I don't have a problem with that. Okay. This is water, and I'm going to bring this around. I'm going to bring this water that comes underneath this bridge. I'm going to bring that around toward the front, okay, like a waterfalls. So uh, I'm gonna like that. Now this right here is gonna be a little column. So keep that in mind. Then we're gonna have more grasses. Well, let's put that in now. We're gonna have more grasses and stuff on this side. So, okay. So there you go. I'm gonna go like this. I need a little deeper color here. I'm kind of gonna go like this, show a little depth. All right, and then come down. Okay, so you guys see what I'm doing now? In a little perspective, that's gonna get bigger as it comes this way. Okay, and then just a little bit of something right there, something right there, just to give it a little oomph, a little depth. Okay, now it's starting to look more like a building. You see that? Okay, same thing with here. I'm going to give it a little bit of depth right there. A little bit of this. I don't have to know exactly what the building looks like. I just want it to look like there's a castle there. There we go. Now you see that? It has some shrubbery. It has some trees, you know? But I'm going to sit back and relax again for a little bit. It might be a good time for you to stop, rest, get up, take a break. Sometimes I do that too. You just can't tell. uh, I wish I could hear what you're saying, what you're thinking. Uh, Let me know in the comments. Always let me know if you like what I'm doing or if you like what I'm saying. I like you to feel relaxed. I like to get a little feedback and maybe something that you want to do in the future. You can even put that in the comments, okay? But I do like to connect with you guys. I don't want it to leave it just, just a one way, one direction thing. And the way I could get your direction, what you tell me, what you think, is to listen to you too, okay? So I'm going to do that too, all right? So I did my little relaxing. And what I think I'm going to do now is play with the water. Some of it is just natural, it's just in there. So let's see what we can do. I need to switch this palette a little bit because this thing has had it. And I'm going to put a little bit of some, I don't know, you can take some phthalo blue and add a little bit of white to it. You can do that. But I had something in my stash called light ultramarine blue. You can put a little white in some ultramarine blue. You can do any of those things because by the time you put your water and your white streaks in there, so anyway, I put this color, this light ultramarine blue. I'm going to put some titanium white. This light ultramarine blue looks very much like my mixture for the background, which was not light ultramarine blue. It was a mixture of ultramarine blue, I believe. I have to look at that. A mixture of that. Let me see what it was. It was some unbleached titanium white, and it was a dab of just a tiny touch of quinacridone magenta. So I'm going to hang with that. Then I'm going to put just a touch of phthalo blue in here. Yep. I'm going to do that. And then here it is. Then I'm going to have enough of a combination to put a little bit of water in here. But the water is going to have quite a bit of white. It really is, because it has to kind of come through. They have it looking like a moat around the castle, but I'm hinting at that with just this part and this part. I'm kind of hinting at the moat. That's all I want to do though, is hint at it. I still have like a million brushes because I had only stuck to one brush. So I have here a number 8 bright, so I can get through this little skinny part. I'm dipping into my ultramarine. No, I'm dipping into my phthalo blue and my light ultramarine blue and my white, just to have a little bit of a different color, a little bit of a mixture. And I'm keeping it mixed because I want it mixed. I want it to come on the paper as mixed. Let's see what we get. This is the fun part. I'm taking this chalk off. I don't want to have too much chalk in there. And that tree is already dry. So here we go. Here we go. I'm not going to take this to the top of this bridge. See, I kind of hit the bridge with it. I'm going to take this off the tree. Don't worry, because I really don't want this on the tree. So I'll take this off the tree. Got to do it while it's wet though. I mean, before it dries. There you go. So I fixed the tree. I might have to use a skinnier, a really small brush to do that. Let's see. You want that part to come through here. Pretty white. You want this to be rushing through here. Okay? And that's how they did it. They had it kind of brushing through. Okay? And that's what I'm going to do. And let's see. Okay. Okay, see that? There's the waterfalls my granddaughter wants. She wanted waterfalls, she gets waterfalls. She wanted it, she gets it. That's how it is with the grandkids. All right. Okay, So there we go. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, now you can. See? That's it. Make it kind of look like one. Okay. And let me show you what I mean. See what I mean? Like right here. I might just do this thing. Make it look like a reflection. Okay. By going over that, um, lightly going over that red oxide part and the brown that I had over there. I like to put a little bit more green behind this young man, beast, whatever he likes to refer to himself as, and I'm sure it's not beast. That was probably the townspeople. All right. Don't forget to stop and rest and do your exercises. Okay? So this looks like a long one. Okay. Dip a little bit of white in here. All right. I really want this to be a little on the lighter side, that's all, because otherwise he is not going to stand out. And obviously my brush wasn't really soaking that much because it's a little bit resistant. All right, so that looks good. That looks really good. Can you see? But this is a Viridian green. I grabbed some. I have all these greens sitting around from when I did that color of the year tutorial. I wanted to make something that had a lot of different greens in it just so that I could have fun. And the color of the year tutorial, I did bamboo. I just like that calm spa-like feeling in it, because that color of the year, even though it's a lighter color and it has more like a muted yellowish green color to it, I wanted to bring in the other colors because that color of the year just made me feel like it was supposed to be kind of spa-like. So when I think of a spa, that's what I think of. That kind of a thing. Kind of a bamboo-y, some people call it zen. But anyway, that's kind of what I was going with. But back to this, I still had those greens. So I don't want you to rush out and get any. Use what you have, because that's what I would be doing. I'm at the point where I need to go and restock my painting, my paint and stuff too. So there you go. I'm mixing a little bit of Viridian green and white. If you really want to do exactly what I do, which I really don't necessarily want you to. I kind of want you to do what you're kind of attracted to doing. Get to know your colors, play around with them, see what they do. So I might add a little bit more white to my waterfalls. So I might put some rocks under there. I think I will. Ah, that looks a little bit better. It looks a lot better. Has kind of a greenish in there, but that's all right. Kind of like that anyway. I'm just playing with my waterfall. Sorry, guys. I digress. Just thought I'd add a little bit to my waterfalls a little bit. Okay. Okay. That's good. And I'll probably take a little bit of this burnt umber. This is what I'm going to do. Mix it with the white. And then put a little bit of a hint of rocks under there too. So that might be what I'll do. Hint that there's some rocks. That's fun to do too. Put a big old rock there. Okay. And when I do that, then I can later go over it with a little bit of a zinc white. And then okay. Okay, so see these rocks along the side? Some of them could be covered by the water. Okay. You can do that too, especially closer to the bottom here. Closer to the bottom of the painting, you might want to have some rocks because waterfalls doesn't go on forever. And that kind of could slow it down a little bit, you know? Have a rock come out a little bit. And then have this rock come down. Put a little bit of brown on it. Give it a little foreground. See? Give it a little foreground here. Okay. Just taking Beauty and the Beast to another level. See? And this is where the zinc white's gonna come in at. Because then you take some zinc white and put it over there. It's gonna look a little bit more like rocks and not so much like. There we go. See? Let that dry. This is fun. Can you tell I like this? I still have a little burnt umber here. Wow, I should have let this paintbrush dry. I should have cleaned it. Let me see what happens. Let's just see. Okay, let's see what happens here. See if I can get away with this. Let's see what he looks like. So he has a little bit of a, well, first of all, the sun is facing him. But I just want to show you. His hair kind of goes like this. You know, kind of goes like this. Wow. I have a different picture up. I have the real guy. somewhere. And then we could take a little of the white and then make it look a little bit more sun-kissed up here. Because the sun's up here, you know. And then a little bit of the dark. And then come down here. He's a beast, remember. He's not supposed to look great. But in her eyes, he looks great. So you just got to find that. How you gonna have him looking? Okay. Now, what I want to do is put like a little beard on him. Okay. And then his face was like kind of flat. But what you could do is you could just use the color to kind of define him. Kind of do that. Okay. Define his features a little bit. All right. Kinda, right? Give him a little bit more color here. Okay, kinda not bad. I don't think that's bad. And then hit him a little bit more here. A little more beard. Okay. A little bit more beard. One thing about these umbers and burnt umbers and everything, they're very translucent. I'm going to put a little purple in here, see if I can get a little bit more of a darker color. However, I'm kind of liking it. Really am. Okay. I'm going to give you a more close-up look as I go. Let's see. This way. There. What do you think? Give you a chance to focus, Mr. Camera. What do you think? Kind of getting there, huh? And I'm going to try not to ruin it because you know how we can do that. Start messing and messing and messing and then be like, oh, wait, how did that happen? So I have a little purple. I'm going to mix my little purple with my burnt umber and see if I can get that to be darker. Anybody listening and be like, no, that's not how you do it. Well, you know what? I work with what I have. And sometimes it ends up, well, that is how you do it. Because there's a lot of ways to do stuff. That's pretty much with everything, right? There's a lot of ways to do stuff, not just the way you heard about. Okay. Everything's getting a little dried up here. I might have to. I found a piece of palette paper. Okay. Spread it out. A little bit more. Okay, so I have some purple mixed with some burnt umber. And hopefully more burnt umber than purple. And let's see what happens here. I think I like what's going on this palette paper. Okay. So I'm going to give him some more. Yeah. A little more definition here. A little bit more layers. especially in the front. And I'm gonna give him a little more beard here. Okay, go up a little bit more here. Give him that hairy look. You don't want him to look all trimmed up like he just got back from the barber shop, right? But you want his nose to show. All right. You want his eyes to show. All right. So I'm just showing you how I'm doing it. You know, you might not even do it the same way. Now I'm having this. I want it sun-kissed, but that doesn't mean don't have any color here. I don't want to look bald. Okay. All right. That's my beast guy. And then I don't want to look too human. So, okay. There we go. Okay. I like how that turned out. I'm going to give her a little bit more red in her hair. So I put a little bit of my Cad Red on my palette. So she's going to have same color hair, sort of. Make them look a little compatible. So here we go. Okay. Okay. Want her to have some movement. Okay. Okay. And I want this to, like I said, I want her to have a little bit of movement, but she's not just being still. They're like dancing, embracing, whatever kids do when they fall in love. Okay. All right. I feel like doing a little dancing. I need to get out more. It'll be 40 years for us. Yeah. I hear a little fake applaud in the background. Okay. So I got her hair done. And now that I got her hair done, I feel like I could just do everything and finish this up lickety split. I got a teeny little brush. Now I did that with a little round brush. Where did I toss that brush? Let me show you. I did that with a little round brush. Here it is right here. Where is it? Here it is. So, say number 6 round. Trying to put it where there's a contrast behind it. There you go. Number 6 round. Okay. Now I have, looks like a little filbert here. Yes, it is. It's a number 2 filbert. Put the white in the background. Like my sound effects. Okay, so right now I am going to do her face and put a touch of red, touch of that brownish purple that was on my palette, touch of white, touch of blue. Whoa, that was more than a touch. Okay, now I need a big touch of white. All right. Okay, it looks a little peaked. I put a little more red in there. Okay, now I think if I throw some more white in there, which I'm running out again, if I throw some more white in there, I think we'll have her complexion down. She's just a little too red. So I'll throw a little more white in there. Okay, so what I had was that little mixture of burnt umber and purple, touch of that, touch of the cad red, and some titanium white. And I'm going to make her skin color. She's a little pink. She's a little pink now. Oh, and I had a touch of whatever blue that was, phthalo blue. Just a touch of it, so it really didn't matter. Okay, so here's my girl. Here's my girl. Give her a little bit of a nose. Give her a little bit of nose. Okay. There she is. I don't like her nose. There. There she is. I know. I should have done her skin first, then her hair. I just get a little excited sometimes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not working. There. Okay. And there's her little chest and neck. Okay. That really is not a bad skin tone. Wow. A little amazed. A little bit darker for the it's the same paint, it's the same little palette. Just going a little darker for right around here. Okay. Oh, and I can't forget our hands and our arm. Okay. 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 Now I need, where'd my white, where'd my white go? I need a little bit more white on here. White gets sucked up into the other colors really easy. I really feel like doing a bad thing. I think I will. That was really bad. I'm not going to tell you what I did. You couldn't see that, could you? Oh, good. Okay. Let's get this face now that it dried a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to just take just a little touch of this tan color and mix it on here. The little, that same tan. I'm just going to take a touch of that, put it on her neck for some shading. Okay, I'm just going to take a little touch of that tan and put it around her head for some shading. All right, I like that. All right. And then at some point, but not now, I'll work on her face a little bit and get her features in there. I gotta clean up the bad thing I did with this paint. Okay. Just want to tell you, you know these caps are interchangeable? So don't throw away your caps. You keep them and wash them or whatever. Throw them in a little bowl of alcohol. This is a big cap from one company compared to this little skinny cap, teeny cap. Let's see, put it against my hair. From another company. Guess which one's easier to deal with? The big cap. They are interchangeable, but because this is white, I don't want to show you on this. But they are interchangeable. Just trust me on that, okay? All right. And because I'm so close to finishing him, I'm going to go with mostly blue on him, on Mr. Beast. Does he have a name? Somebody tell me in the comments if he has a name, because that'd be cool. I wouldn't have known that. That'd be a nice little, what would you call that? Trivia? Yeah, that'd be a cool trivia. All right, I'm going to take this color here. And maybe a little brown. Yeah. I mixed some blue and some brown, but I made it really dark. And these are going to be his clothes. The darker, I need to go a little bit with the lighter for the rest of his clothes. But, you know, you have to know where his arms are, so. Okay. All right, so here he is. Have kind of a grayish color, especially with that background. Okay. Don't want to mess up her arm, her hand. I need, for her, I need a bright yellow. And what I have in front of me, nobody has. So just use a bright yellow, okay? I'm not even going to tell you what this is. This is something I saw when I was ordering online. I haven't heard anyone say they have this color. It's a bismuth yellow, and it's kind of a greenish hint of green in it. That's going to be her dress. And it's on top of blue anyway. I already told you what that does. So back to my titanium white to put under there, because I said what that does. If you put blue on top of, yellow on top of blue, you're going to be in trouble. So let's mix this. Let's hurry up and put some titanium white on there. My contaminated titanium white because I did something really bad. So I'm gonna, I think I emptied out the other paint color that somebody stuck in there. So yeah, I'm not keeping a secret. I'll tell you what I did. So now I want to take a clean brush and I'm going to really quick paint over her dress. I think I'm going to flip it around because it's on the end. And oh, that's so much easier. Can you see? Yeah. So I'm going to paint her dress white real quick. I'm going really fast. I'm going to paint it white. There goes getting into the paint and visualizing because you know I'm not visualizing her upside down. Okay. Looks like a dress. And then, oh, I'll put my windows in or something like that while this white's drying. There's always something else to do on the other side of the painting. Even if you think you're done, there's always something else you can do to mess around. Okay, so I think I spread that out enough. I keep going over it. That's not good either. So, all right. And then this part, gotta cover this over with white. This is gonna be yellow, not green. I think there's enough green in this yellow that I have. Okay, and I think her shoulders come out a little bit here. Now I gotta flip her over because now I'm confused what she looks like. Oh yeah. I like that. Now it's starting to take shape, guys and gals. All right. So her, yeah. Okay. I got a little, well, some of that's supposed to be blue. That's all right. We'll fix that later. Now, where is that? Yeah, that filbert I had. That's really perfect for little windows because I've done it before with that. So I'm going to clean that off real quick. All right. And see that some of that yellow that I have out for her dress. I'm going to make some little windows in here. I might need my reference for that. So long on this silo looking thing. And short on some of the others. Okay, that's pretty obvious. Okay, so I'm just going to wing it. Some long windows. Yep. I like the filberty shaped windows too. Those are kind of cool. You just kind of go a little cross. Another one. Okay. See, now it's starting to look like a castle. Got my little light on. Got the lights on in the castle. I'm telling you the truth. This is some castle. You could put a whole neighborhood in this thing. I did see somebody's house one time. It was all I'm going to tell you was, it was a fighter. It was a boxer. Our cousin that lived in a state where she knew where these exclusive, these fancy houses were that she knew would kind of impress me. And I'm not easily impressed. I don't know why. It's not like I had anything like that. But I don't get like crazy over money and stuff. I never did. I really don't care. But I'm telling you, I never saw so many windows in my entire life. That house, we sat in front of it long enough to not get arrested because I wanted to count the windows. I never could count the windows because I thought the police would come. That's how many windows were in the front of that house. And that's just the front of the house, okay? I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. That's how big that house was. Yeah. Um, this castle's even bigger. Needless to say. Oh goodness. All right. So I'm throwing some windows in there just for kicks and giggles. All right. Somebody was talking about my expressions, talking about you hadn't heard them in a long time. I think some of that stuff is regional because I'm originally from Ohio. Then I moved to the East Coast and I started hearing words I hadn't heard since my grandmother used to visit. And we never said sneakers. Sneakers is just like, it sounded like a grandma word to me. And then I'm noticing that's more popular than the word we used to say tennis shoes or gym shoes. But then we moved to the East Coast and they said sneakers. And I was like, wow. And then I heard somebody say pocketbook. I'm like, now wait a minute. I know that's an old word. Pocketbook, really? But I guess looking at my unfinished painting, like that's okay, here we go. Uh that was totally a grandma word to me. I said pocketbook. I remember my grandmother saying, hand me that pocketbook. I'm just doing some swipes down for these windows. I'm like loving every minute of it. It just turned this thing into um an actual castle. Just with the shape of the filbert brush for the windows. I mean, I like that. Make it sound like I was painting forever, and I really haven't been, but so awesome. It was an awesome discovery. Just telling you. Just telling you the truth. Okay. That's fun. I almost got a little carried away with these windows, but so what? So I over windowed it as I add more. That was fun. Wow, I don't want to be finished. I'm starting to have so much fun with this. What? All right, so now I still got the yellow. I can't believe I got to do that. I got to do my conservation thing. Can you see me? Okay, I'm going to go over this white now because the white's dry. I'm going over the white with the yellow. This yellow is very, very translucent. Even though it's a heavy body professional paint. Good grief. Well, I'll make that work in my favor. I'll make it work in my favor. Um, People like to see brush strokes. So I'm painting the front of her dress, and I'm having trouble seeing brush strokes because of where I'm painting. I was getting ready to say something else. Anyways, Um, so definitely with this paint, the brush strokes are showing. Oh, goodness gracious. This was fun. I'm liking this. I'm really liking this. And especially the fact that my granddaughter's going to love it. She's going to be like, Jaja. That's my grandma name. Don't ask. Yes, okay, I made it up. And my grandma namesake is gone. She was a tough old bird, man. What was she, 90 something? Zsa Zsa Gabor? She was 90 something, right? That's wonderful. I remember though, this might be why I named myself this. She was tough. She went to jail. And I remember when this happened because I guess a police officer got fresh with her and she slapped him in the face. She either slapped him in the face or punched him in the face. She went to jail overnight. I mean, the classiest starlet, one of those starlet types, Zsa Zsa Gabor with her Hungarian accent. She was the sister to the one in Green Acres. That was Ava Gabor. Why do I know this? But I don't know anything that's taking place today. What's that tell you? Anyways, um, yeah, she's like, I'm not taking that. I don't suggest that kind of disrespect or anything. You know, you're supposed to respect authorities. But I just thought, wow, she's got like a lot to her. She's not afraid. And I guess she felt like she wasn't getting the respect because she's Zsa Zsa Gabor, and how dare you, whatever he did to her. And I guess she let him have it. I just can't even picture. I can't picture that. I wouldn't even be around to tell you about it. I tell you that much. Oh, but anyways, I'm sure that's not what she wanted to be known for. And of course, that did come up. Came up, when they talked about her. So I'm just painting my yellow. I get into my little conversations all by myself. But anyway, you guys are listening, right? I'm painting my yellow bismuth, whatever color that was. But anyway, my yellow on top of the white that I put down. Your yellow is probably a different yellow, Hansa yellow or CAD yellow. Please use that. Don't go out and get this. The only reason I'm using this is because I didn't go out and get it. Okay. And I might just, where's my purple? I had stuck some purple in there. I might, just for fun, I don't know, I'm afraid to mess it up. I took just a hint of purple into this yellow. And I knew I don't have to do a lot of shading for this dress. I'm not sure. I got something crazy going on with his blue and his legs and all that kind of stuff. I might put space between them, some gray, some green, put some space between them. Well, it's not going to work on there. Let me get a new brush. I put some zinc white out because I want to, that's a real quick thing to do. So I'm going to cover these wrap, kind of blend in.